Welcome back to the Biz Alchemy podcast. So today's topic, I did record a couple of weeks ago and didn't have my mic plugged in, did I? So here I am for take two. So it's an interesting topic, this one, because it's come up so often over my years working with business and the energy of business, and has been a discussion several times in my group, The Playground. And the topic is there another word for business? And I certainly understand why this comes up, and it comes up for me as well. And I've talked about the yang language of business. And if you haven't listened to that podcast episode before, it's episode number 42, Changing the Yang Language of Business. And what's so interesting is, as I was just having a look on my podcast list to see what number that episode was, I noticed that the podcast the following week, episode 43, was called Does Busyness Block Income? So in a way, they're both relevant because the word business, as I'm sure you've worked out, is busyness. And obviously that within itself is a very yang language. It's a very mental energy. And it's so out of alignment with the frequency of vibration of New Earth. And if you're listening to the Biz Alchemy podcast, creating a business in the vibration of New Earth is important to you, because everything I talk about is how do we create a higher vibrational business. So it's a bit of an assumption on my part, but I'm sure that I'm pretty spot on with that assumption. But then that word business comes in, which actually has a denser vibration, a vibration that comes from a patriarchal model that we're leaving behind. It comes from a third dimensional system that we're leaving behind. It comes from a way of being, busyness, that we're also leaving behind, because busyness is a distraction. It's a distraction from being present. It's a distraction from going within. In many ways, it's a distraction from facing and being your truth. And busyness cannot exist in the vibrational frequency of New Earth. So, does that mean that business exists in the vibrational frequency of New Earth? Something to ponder. One of the reasons I decided on this topic at this time was I've recently recorded an updated version of my meditation, Meet Your Business. Now, I originally recorded this meditation 4 or 5 years ago, and the original recording was the first ever meditation I uploaded to Insight Timer. And over the almost 3 years that it's been on Insight Timer, I've had feedback a few times from people saying I didn't leave a long enough pause for them to hear the answers from their business while they were doing the meditation. And I always intended to re-record it, and finally did it a few weeks ago. And I've uploaded that to the premium section of Insight Timer, since the other one's already on the free section. So if you're a premium member of Insight Timer, you can access it there. Interestingly enough, one of the first reviews that I got of the meditation was like, yeah, great meditation, but I'd like a little bit longer to listen to my business answers. And I'd left about 3 times as long this time, and it just made me laugh. And I went, no more people pleasing. But anyway, there you go. That's just a lovely little story about the fact that there will always be someone that has, some sort of feedback on what you offer. And you just got to do your own thing. Anyway, after I had recorded it, I listened to it and just went through it on my own just to make sure that the pacing was good. And my business came up in a form that I haven't had before. She came as a mermaid, and she had this really ethereal energy, very flowing. And when I asked the general question, what is it you'd like to share with me right now? She piled up all this gold in my hands. And of course I'm going, oh, yippee. But actually what she said to me at the same time is, you are the gold. It was so powerful, and I just got, truth tingles right through my body. And of course we recognize this. You recognize that within your business, you are the gold. But do you truly acknowledge that you are the gold? That those gifts that you're sharing through your business, that they are gold. They are your currency, if you like. To expand on the last podcast episode about abundance in the new earth, in honoring that you are the gold, this really reflects everything I've talked about in attracting clients, in how to show up in the framework of your business, which is to be authentically you. You are the gold means that you, in your truest essence, are the currency. That's the value. That's what you are here to share. Not who others think you should be, not in the way that you perceive a woman that has her own business should be, not in what your partner or business buddy tells you should be, not the way your coach tells you should be, not even the way I tell you should be, although I promise I would never do that and definitely not use the word should, but in case you thought I was. Anyway, no, it's the way that you in your heart know that you, and there's no should, that you simply are the full expansion of you. Every gift that you bring to the table, this is you in New Earth. This is you in that fifth dimensional consciousness that we are aspiring to. Especially if you're on the journey of self-realization, self-understanding, self-development. You're aware that you're going on this internal journey into this higher vibrational frequency that's called very often 5D. What it is an embodiment of your truth, and that embodiment of your truth changes your frequency. And as I said to the ladies in the playground recently, we're actually in this vibrational frequency now. We're holding it. Sure, not all the time. But for example, when I'm in a session, when I'm speaking with my groups, when I'm here recording podcasts, quite a lot of my life now, I'm operating from this vibrational frequency. But of course, I'm still living in a world where quite a bit of that world is not. You know, that's what we would call 3D still. I'm still in that space. But what's important is that I am taking that vibrational frequency that I would align with a fifth dimension and holding that while I'm operating in that sort of lower 4D, 3D. I mean, the numbers aren't really important. It's just about a vibrational frequency. So in that denser energy. And that's what can be tricky. But this is where your power lies. And of course, sometimes operating in that denser vibrational frequency, we can drop back into those patterns, certain behaviors, certain beliefs that we are not as aware of when we're in that environment where we can feel our energy being much lighter and much more expanded. This can still happen, but what you find is, or what I'm finding, is I'm more aware of it. I see it. I feel it. It actually feels out of alignment. And I'm like, my God, where did that come from? The observer in me can now see me playing out those beliefs or, whatever it is, the pattern, rather than me being in it now and not seeing anything else. Anyway, that was actually a bit off topic, but it's relevant because this is the gold. This is the gold. Me embracing the power of the rose line and what that means to me, to my soul, as part of my soul lineage, and really just needing to talk about and share the wisdom of it. Even though my business focus has been about business energy, I had to do that because it's part of my gold. I have to keep doing that, or else I'm denying some of my gold, and then all of me suffers. Anyway, back to the original topic. Is there another word for business? I mean, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it your service. A couple of years ago on a playground call, we came up with all sorts of names that we could call it. But for me now, obviously, I'm still using the word business, but I am finding it more difficult to use because of the density of it. Even in the name of this podcast of Biz Alchemy, I've got the alchemy there, and I've sort of softened the business by calling it biz, but the energy is still within that name. And yet the way that I view my business now isn't actually as a business. I see my business as a portal through which I can express myself, through which I can bring my gold and give that gold to others. So as we all sit on this bridge between worlds, if you like, there are going to be words like that you suddenly find you can't even speak them anymore because the vibration is so out of alignment with where you're at. Again, expanding on what I talked about in the last podcast episode on abundance, as we embody the new earth energy more, I don't believe there will be a business as such. I think that term will disappear because we will simply be all of who we are. We'll offer that within our community, whether that's our local community or our global community. And that's what we will be bringing because we will simply be living. We will be living who we are. There won't be this separation of work and home. A separation which in many ways has caused us to lose our joy about what our gifts are and how we share them. We will be living who we are. So in that way, business as such will not exist. There'll be exchange. Who knows what that exchange will look like? But I believe that the term business will either simply disappear with time or be superseded by something else. I don't know. I'm simply musing here. But I'm just sharing with you some insights that I've had. And in doing so, it might inspire you. It might give you some ideas. How will you approach this? How will you be part of this transition? If you're visualizing yourself in these expanded vibrational frequencies of the Aquarian age, how does it look for you? I truly believe that so many labels are going to go. However, in these years of transition, your business will still play an important role as far as the base chakra goes in particular, because the base chakra of your business provides support, it provides a structure, it provides systems. Like within that energetic entity, that gives you a container to harness and to magnify your voice and your gifts. So it's not ready to be thrown out just yet, but I do see that it's predominantly going to be the base chakra of the business that really gives you the foundation, certainly for the few years of transition. But this base chakra will become more and more flowing. And eventually, you will not need support and structure and systems the way that we have living in this denser energy that's been called 3D. But even in this transition time, it is vital that all of your voice is shared. So I mentioned before just this little bit of conflict I've had this year around my business of the part of me, my soul, that's yearning to be expressed. And I actually think is going to become the major part of who I am and how I show up. Certainly my planning for next year is very much focused around that. Planning, let's put that in air quotes, okay? Since when do I plan? Anyway, my visioning, let's say visioning. So it is going to be a major part of who I am. And yet there is still, of course, this side that loves to talk about business energy that I still have more to share around that. So I've had this conflict, how do I bring both of these forward in a way that they complement each other and that they don't seem like they're two disparate parts of myself? Because I don't want them to be like that, because this is just me showing up. Today I want to talk all about the rose line and share the gifts that are coming through around that. Or today I want to show up and talk about business energy and creating our new earth business. So you might find this, the more and more you embody all of who you are and realize every part of you needs expression. You may go through this process of, well, how do I fit this into my current business? You may be going through that now. What's going to happen? So perhaps this is where the labels and things start to drop away. The elevator pitch, the whatever else you're using, tagline, whatever else you're using around your business might start to drop away. And that's one reason that so often in my business readings over the years, if someone's not using their name as a business name, but have chosen a business name that's different from their own personal name, sometimes it feels like it could possibly hold that person back because they're on a journey to embody all of themselves. And I'm not saying it's wrong to do that, but what will happen is they keep evolving. They might move beyond the energy of the name of their business. But so much is entangled in that name that it's hard to let it go. And then that can start holding back the evolution of the business and the person. So this is why I know it's often come through for me in readings, like, are you sure you don't want to use your name? And as I say, there's nothing wrong with choosing another name, but be aware that it will probably require an evolution at some point. When I think of my 6 years in business, how much my business has changed. If I had chosen a name at the beginning, I swear I would have been through about a dozen by now, just like I have like branding. I'm sure I've had a dozen different rebrands for that reason. Maybe I just need to go all white. But that's a part of it. So thank goodness I did choose my name early on, so I wasn't held back in that way. So I do think a part of this shift into the newer earth energy is it will simply be, I'm Jacquelyn Atkins. Here's my gifts. Here's my gold. This is what I have to offer. This is who I am. This is my truth. Are you attracted to this? Do you feel like it's important for you to have a little bit of my gold for where you are right now? Like, this is it. So this is the business, in air quotes, in New Earth. It's not really a business, and it certainly doesn't involve any busyness. It is you being you and living your life as you and being fully supported by the universe in that. So I'd just like to share with you, because I talked about re-recording the Meet Your Business meditation. And obviously, that is meeting an energetic entity that is your business, because you've created that energetic entity by putting your consciousness into it. So that's why it shows up as separate from you. But when you meet with your business, when you listen to that meditation, which actually the new version I've called Connect and Communicate with Your Business, when you do that, what you're truly doing is connecting with your inner self, connecting with your inner guidance, connecting with your intuition. Sometimes it's easier to do that when we become more objective and put ourselves on the outside of it. So if you'd love to listen to this new version of the meditation and you're not on Insight Timer, I do have it available to download from the homepage of my website. Just have a little scroll through my copy and you'll see the link there. But another great opportunity to have a deeper connection with your business will be during my December petite retreat called Create Your 2024 New Earth Business. So this is a free online 2-hour event, and it's available at 2 different times on the magical portal of the 12th of the 12th. Because it's on at 2 different times, you can attend regardless of your time zone. But if you can't, if you have something else on it, I know it's a busy time of the year. Did I just say that? I know it's a full time of the year, but a replay is available if you can't be there live. This is going to be really powerful. It's the first time I've offered this as a petite retreat, and it's the first time I've offered one of my petite retreats for free. So I would love to have you there, because the more of us that come together and hold the space for the creation of our business in New Earth, or whatever it's going to be called at that time, but it's like we speed up the process. We allow much more of the old patriarchal system to drop away as more of us put our intention on what is this higher vibrational frequency going to look like. And perhaps if you're joining me, you can share your insights from listening to this. Have you given your business another name? Are you calling it something else other than a business? Such a great conversation to have. This is why I love the playground, because we get into such juicy topics. Anyway, the link to register is in the show notes, or it's on my homepage at jacquelynatkins.com. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey of co-creating New Earth through fully being ourselves. How magical is that? So much love to you.